Hallo und willkommen euch alle. Today is the Tag der Deutschen Einheit, which is a German Feiertag in which we celebrate, I don't know, something about that the war ended and stuff. I was wondering how could I make good content of that, and then I remembered TDR once released an equalizer that has different modes, and one of them is called British, as you can see here, and yeah, there's also a German one. So my idea was we could just throw this equalizer on some material and Germanify my music. So here we have the music. Yeah, let's Germanify it and meanwhile have a little bit of a conversation about Germany, starting with this sound here. So this is like a futuristic sound, sounds a bit like the 90s idea of futuristic, something that you would hear in a jungle beat also. I just imported a sample like that into the sampler of Bitwig, and this brings me to my first topic of today's video, which is that a lot of DAW developers seem to have their origin in Germany. Steinberg, Ableton and Bitwig. I might be missing some, but these are the ones that matter most to me personally, because I've always used Cubase. Well, I did not use Ableton a lot, only in university a little bit. As you can see, I'm using Bitwig now, and this is the sampler of Bitwig. So audio software that comes from Germany has really come a long way. So where do I use this now? I have 3 layers. This is the dry layer. This is the reverb layer. And this is the transient layer. Okay, maybe I will just use it on the dry layer to make it sound a bit different from everything else. I don't know what the out stage does. I know that the calibrate one is for the EQ saturation. Still, it's kind of subtle. Maybe I changed something for the better. Before going on, let me change the interface size to make it a little bit more suitable for YouTube. Okay, I can feel how this filter really adds some German flavor to my music. Let's go on with maybe, I don't know, maybe the kick. Of course, German should be the default setting, also silky because I just like that word. And I want to have the bells by default because belts sound nicer than shelves in most cases. Okay, let's go on. Still not able to hear the difference between the different modes and even the different amounts of distortion. One would think that something like 18 decibels makes a difference at some point, but I don't know, maybe it just doesn't. So let's see if it improved something. Oh, it lost a little bit too much transient. Okay. Let's work on this hey sample. Slick EQ. But before we go on, I turn off the situation and I just want to find out what is even the difference between Germany and other countries. A lot of people are arguing about that in a very political way every day, and I feel like we could also just solve this problem by looking at EQ curve analyzer while boosting a German filter. Let's put it to exactly 12. Now we can see that it really lines up with this interface here. Now we can compare it with a different EQ style, like Soviet, which looks the same, I guess. Why does it look the same? Okay, American. American looks different. And British. British and German look alike. Why do 3 of these types look alike? Oh no, they look a little bit different. The Soviet one is a little bit wider than the German one. But I really can't see the difference between German and British. Maybe when I'm cutting, I can see the difference better. So apparently British and German people boost in the same way, but Russian people are different. And when it comes to cutting, then it's also that Soviet people are cutting steeper. And British people really don't like wide cuts. They are always very narrow. German people are like, fuck that, I'm German, no matter if I boost or cut. And American people are more narrow than Russian people even, but not as narrow as British people. So yeah, one could say being in German means that no matter if you go hard or go soft, you always go in the same way. You basically just go. Great, so now we have this settled and we don't need to be racist anymore, or at least not in a different way than as suggested by this plugin. All right. Oh yeah, that really helped a lot. It gave it a little bit more of its own little space in the mix. Maybe we could apply a little bit of equalization to just the higher pitched aim and break thingies to set them apart from the rest a little bit more and make it less of a predictable sound or something like that. Yeah, that sounds a little bit fresher. Nice, nice, nice. So it really pays off to embrace your country in your music. Okay, let's also apply it to the snare saw. By the way, if you're wondering what this is actually Thumb 1, the synthesizer that was originally designed for kicks, but I just decided that I only use the super saw in this beat for some reason, I don't know. Oh, actually, we have to test something else about the way we see countries and patriotism and all that, because we only looked at the belts. But how do the countries differ in terms of shelves? That's also an important question. So here we have a high shelf, and the German one looks like this, very gentle. The Soviet one, barely any different. The American one is a little bit tighter. The British one has a little dip even. Now, that looks interesting. That's more like something that I would actually do in Pro Q a lot of the times I'm making adjustments. I like to contrast that with the opposite adjustment around the cutoff stop band of the filter or something. Let's go into the opposite direction and check out if we find some weird things again. So German, just like before, let's just do the same thing but backwards, nice and easy. Soviet one, oh, the Soviet one this time really wants to be in a different space. So yeah, the Russian people are no big fans of keeping it the same when cutting. Americans, very similar to the Russians, so when it comes to reducing something, then Russian people and American people seems to be united. British people as well. So that was a little bit unexpected with this very sharp bell. I would have expected the shelf also to be quite sharp, but the British shelf is a little bit more casual. Alright, so now let's actually get started. This just gave me a nice little idea. I could use a mid-side split for that and just give the mid part of the signal a different EQ than the side one. The mid signal now has a less hyped signal, not so much emphasis on the high end. And the side one, now that sounds much more interesting. Alright everyone, I wish you a nice Tag der Deutschen Einheit and wir sehen uns beim nächsten Mal.